Hello.
Okay. I didn't. I can zoom in and out, so
Okay.
I can kind of set it to where you want it.
No. That's what
Let's see. I think this is good. Yeah, this is good. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just check your eyes. So do you, when people talk, are people going to be talking to you guys over Zoom?
No,
No? Okay.
it's just gonna be us speaking.
Okay. Good, we should be good. If people talk, it'll come through the speakers in the room,
Okay.
just so you know. So if people unmute to add to the conversation,
Okay.
it comes through the speakers, and they should all be able to hear.
And then how do?
So like, do you want to duplicate the screen?
Yeah, but I just want to do it for the slides.
So. Because it's set to extend right now, so when you go into present, it'll automatically go up there.
Okay. Oh my God. 100 session share drives. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna grab you guys a quick.
Why does? Hold on. SJ Instagram. I mean, not the SJ Instagram. This one's email. Yeah, it's not shared with the email.
Testing, 1, 2.
Okay. Ooh, can everyone take a seat, please? Where the fuck is it? It's not working. Okay. I call this meeting to order at 7:01. Can I get the roll call, Samaya? Okay.
All right. Just start from the beginning, call everybody name. Okay. I apologize in advance if I butcher anyone's name. Just correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Latasha Brown. Jayla Richardson. Amber Fairchild. Alexander Ortiz. Nevaeh Payne. Jessica Jenkins. Zaire McMicken. Gotcha. All right. Linda Slade. Hillary Deming. Dimmitt. Okay. Kayla Perry. Mayor El-Daib. Gotcha. Butchered the name. Not trying to butcher nobody's name. Fatima Onier. Okay. Okay. Ahmed El-Ladi, I just said that. Tamia Fawcett. Okay. Derek Shimba. Gotcha. Maisha. Marcel. Grace. All right. Kimberly Lopez. Daniel Chang. Charlotte Bland. Jalea Hairston. Alex Torstado. Mason Newcomer. Fernando Curias. And Alyssa Odom.
Thank you, Samaya. We'll get to know your names as things go along. But can I get approval of the minutes? Mason? Can I get a second, please? Okay. Can I also get approval of the, actually, can I motion to approve, to amend the agenda? Sorry. Mason. So we're adding the swearing in of a new senator, and then we're also adding the PR team introduction. Okay. Can I get a second, please? Thank you. Student forum. So any student present and wishing to speak may speak at the time. SGA members may respond, but can only bring up new topics during senator forum. Okay. Okay, old business. There's no old business, so moving past this. Okay, new business. So we're going to swear in a new senator before we do the PR team introductions. I pledge to uphold the Constitution of the Student Government Association. Student Government Association of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. And do my best to fulfill all the duties and responsibilities given to me by the students to advocate, educate, and serve the student body. Congratulations. Okay, Kaylin, you can come up here. When I introduce y'all, can y'all please just stand up and give like a wave? So hey y'all, I'm Kaylin. I'm the Director of Media Affairs for this year. And so introducing PR team, this is something I want to do because in the past, like a lot of members didn't really know who was on PR team. And I really want to change that because PR team is a big part of SGA and getting the word out. So first we have Taylor Hawkins. She's a content creator. And she was here last year. Then we have Ariana Mallory. She's also a content creator. Then we have Tsunami M. She was here last year and is videographer and content creator. And we have Cheyenne Henley. She's a photographer. We have Stella Mambia. She's videographer and designer. We also have Melanie. She is right there. Yep. Hey, girl. She's photographer. We have Madeline Good. Madeline was here last year. She does the website and she's very good at it. Then last we have Dorian Turner. And she's not here, but hey, in spirit. Hey, y'all. And so, yeah, that's our PR team for the year. I'm trying to figure out how to move my event request form, like into the drive if you want a flyer done, flyer request form. So I'm gonna do that in like 2 seconds, but thanks y'all. Yes, thank you, Kaylin. View the PR team is like at every event. So if you ever have an event and you want them to be there, let Kaylin know, but yeah. Okay, so we're having new legislative board appointments. So I'm gonna be presenting 2 people, but first Tasha and Mamadou have to leave. Sorry. You can go outside. And if he comes in, can you let him know? Tasha, can you let him know? Okay, thank you. Is the door closed? Is the door closed? Okay, so I'm first going to introduce Tasha. So Tasha is currently a sophomore. Her major is hospitality, tourism, and management. She's from Salisbury, North Carolina, and the organization she's a part of is Gospel Choir and BSU. I wanted her to be the temporary SGDI chair until we have elections because she just overall very impactful and understands a lot of things. I've gotten to know her in a personal level. She's really cool. I think that she would be a great addition to just like social justice diversity issues. Yeah,
And then I also have Mamadou. He wants to be historian. He's a junior. He's information systems and supply chain management. He's from Greensboro. He's in other orgs such as ASU and Brothers Doing Positive. I chose him because I've overall seen like how he been organizational, things like that. In a historian position, you need someone who's very organizational. And I've also seen other orgs that he's in and his way he participates. And I think he would be a great member to add on to SGA, especially within the historian position. Now we're going to move into voting because we have to vote for whether or not you guys would approve for them to come. So yes. Yeah, we're going to do that. Like, yeah, we're doing that. Okay, so before we move into voting, we're going to do questions and discussion as well. And then Abe. So basically, we're going to have a 5-year period of Q&A. So if you have any questions about, why I decided to pick them and like any questions about them, this is your time to do so. Okay. Mason? She's already a senator. Yeah. Yeah. Is there any more questions? Mason? Oh. Yes, Alexander. So she would be basically SGADI committee chair. So each committee has a chair essentially. She would be in charge of, running the committee, deciding what different like events y'all host. Social justice, diversity, and inclusion. But yeah. Any more questions? Hillary? So I did do, during the spring election, we did do an open forum where people could apply to be SGADI chair. Nobody from the previous committee had applied. So I decided to pick Tasha because I have worked with her closely as well and been able to see what different initiatives she wants to work on. And it's follows mainly. If you're asking in terms of like, would she be able to like get a little bit knowledge from the previous chair? The transition report will help with that as well. And also I'll be working with her closely while she transitions into the position. Also, it's temporary until elections too. Okay, Mason? Do I have a second? Okay. So now we're gonna have to move into a 5-minute period of discussion. So if you guys have any commentary about whether or not you support their vote and stuff like that, yeah, you can do so now. But yeah. It's just you, like, you can say, oh, like I support this person or not. So you would just, yeah. Mason. Okay, thank you. Now we're going to do voting. So Abe is going to be sending that out to you guys in the same email that the agenda was copied in. You can either do yes, no, or abstain. Usually if you abstain, it's because you have a conflict of interest or whatever. So, but usually everybody should be voting. But yeah. Yes. Under the parliamentarian drive. Yeah, it's gonna be under the parliamentarian drive. Okay, has everyone voted? Okay. Yes. You know how. Were you able to get it? Okay. Did everyone vote? Okay.
All right, so with a vote of 19-0 to 1, they will be appointed in their positions. Please clap it up for them. And clap one more time when they come in, please. Make them feel welcome. Okay. Woo, 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 woo.
Congratulations to both of y'all for being appointed to your new positions. Okay, so now we're gonna go into Senate training. This will help with any questions that you may have on how our Senate meetings work and function. Me and Manny will be both presenting this. Okay, so Manny will be going over Robert's rules with y'all.
Hello, everyone. So Robert rules, a little bit about it is to keep things in line to make meetings more productive and more easily flowed. The chair is the guide of the meeting and remains unbiased and does not participate in discussion or voting. The president may make non-deliberately points and participate in the discussion, but cannot motion or vote anything. So anyone up here at this front desk, we cannot motion for anything, but we can imply for someone to make a motion. The parliamentarian maintains the business of order or order of business, and then the senator, which is y'all, are the deciding body who vote and motion things. So this is also a little bit of a touch up on the Zoom thing since we're starting to transition out, but we might use Zoom at some point. So this is a few things to keep in mind. When we are using Zoom, type X in the chat when you would like to speak during the chat, type 2 in the chat when you would like to second, and put a percentage sign in the chat when you want to snap or agree with something. We will cover the Zoom etiquettes whenever it comes up, but this is just to be aware of it. So motions. So as you saw, Mason was doing a lot of the motioning earlier. So a motion is a formal proposal for consideration of action. Only one subject can be considered at one time. No main motion can be made while another motion is on table. It is not just one person that can do a motion, multiple people can do motions. So please don't let Mason be the only one. You can say phrases like I move or I motion, and on the back of your placard, it does say how to do your motions as well. Motions may be considered during opening discussions and not during presentations or Q&As and answering periods. So another thing to keep in mind, proposing an order of business, bringing forth a piece of legislation or revisiting a legislation that was tabled. This is whenever we are discussing in other meetings, old business type of thing. So another thing for legislation is to amend. So this is more of an insert or strike out type of thing whenever it comes to agenda or legislation or anything like that. It is used to clarify and improve the wording of an original motion or legislation and must be relevant to that motion or legislation. So what this means is whenever we are talking about a piece of legislation, you can make an amend or propose an amend, but it must be still relevant to the case. So if we're talking about something in the CAF and you propose something with, let's say, parking, it just doesn't make sense, you know? So the suspension of the rules, this is a really unique situation where it allows the violations of certain rules that I've talked about, the amending. This is very rare and it's situational, and when it happens, it must be specific. So another thing that it can happen is whenever we motion to extend or cut down on time. So whenever we are discussing something or have a period of question and there are no questions or discussions, we can make motions to modify those times to shorten them down. Another thing is to table a piece whenever there's a piece of legislation that cannot be handled at this moment or a topic that cannot be talked about to this moment, we can table it for further discussion. We can also postpone an indefinite motion indefinitely. What this means, if there were to be a piece of legislation that has no actual tangibility, we can table it for indefinitely. So we just won't talk about it ever again. Now, you can also make friendly amendments whenever we are talking about a legislation and the speaker says something, or you see that you want to approve something on a piece of legislation, you can propose a friendly amendment. What this means is that the author can accept or dismiss that proposal. It is not up for discussion in the group. It is just a recommendation. If it is dismissed, but you really want it on there, then you would have to formally put it in as a motion. Some key phrases is I make a friendly amendment to add blank to the bill. The author can either say I accept or dismiss the amendment because of blank reason. Any questions? Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about writing legislation. So a lot of y'all will be put into your committees in the next coming weeks. So the way that will work is that every 2 weeks we have a regular Senate meeting like this, and then the third week we do a committee meeting. So wherever committee that you decide to be on, that's where you guys talk about different legislation, initiative, things that you guys want to work on. Okay, so legislation can be used to bring awareness to an issue or concerns on campus. It can also influence the actions and policies for the SGA session. So if, for example, in the past, we've worked with dining to create different legislation. So anything that you work with a campus partner on, that can be put into legislation. Okay, so before you start writing legislation, you have to think about a few things. So is this a concern that the student body is voicing for themselves, or is, is there actually people or a group of people that want this concern handled? Are we collaborating with others in this project, or is it just you? And then also having an understanding of what you want to motion, how can be implemented. So it's important to have legislation that you feel like can actually be attainable. For example, you want to change something in dining, you want a different accommodation for something, then that's something that can be attainable. Also, consider opposing arguments. So whenever you present a piece of legislation, you may have, for example, what we just did, a question and answer and discussion, where people are going to be asking you questions about your legislation and why you wrote the piece specifically. And so just having as much information as you need to present up here. Also, legislation doesn't always have to be groundbreaking. For example, Jordan last year, she made a legislation on Breast Cancer Awareness Month just for SGA to acknowledge it and create events surrounding that month. So who can write legislation? So anybody can write legislation in Senate. Non-senators must have a Senate sponsor. So if for example, the executive cabinet back there, they need somebody to come up here to present the legislation because technically you guys have speaking rights in Senate and they must yield their time. And then VP or anyone else cannot force a senator to sponsor legislation. Okay, so there's different type of legislation. So there's finance bills. So finance bills typically go into Mason's category. He's finance chair. So that would be like if you want to, for example, allocate some money to different things, that would be a finance bill. Also governing bills as well. Governing bills fall into SOPs. So for example, if you want to change what is specifically listed in your position in our SOPs, then that would be a governing bill. And then Senate resolutions. So that can be where you are just creating a resolution between different entities. So that can be, for example, like the Ramadan resolution where we work with dining to create a resolution between, different accommodations and stuff like that. So yeah, so these are basically what I just went over, what the different things are. And then assembly resolution. So assembly resolutions, all legislation exercising one or more privilege of the assembly. Such resolution shall be adopted by a simple majority vote of the student senate. Okay. And then, so in writing legislation, the first step that you should think about is student concerns. So for example, who is this impacting? What do we want to gain from this legislation? What tabling events can we do? So the most important thing is doing student outreach. So we have a current concerns committee, which that works with student outreach, just seeing what the student concerns are. So if you're writing a piece of legislation, most likely you can go to the current concerns committee for any questions. And Grace is currently the chair of that. But mostly you'll be working alongside your committees for writing different things, legislation as well. And we have different guides and templates to help you so that you're not totally lost whenever you're writing your first piece. Yeah. Okay. And then the legislation template. Okay. So the legislative template is in the committee folder. So you would go under. So any legislation that is proposed by Senate or anybody in general would be under the drive. So you can access almost anybody's legislation that they propose in Senate and drive. So for example, you would go to the legislative branch, then you would go to legislative, it's not in here, but it would be legislative chair, which that would be mayor. And then basically it would tell you how and exactly like what legislation is being proposed and stuff like that. So if you ever come into a Senate meeting and it says on the agenda, there's going to be this bill proposed or going to be presented today, you can look at it beforehand. But I will add the committee folder on there so that you guys can see it. Okay, so the writing process. So legislative writing involves a direct and explanatory approach that transforms your initiative from an idea to a format. So that can be easily understood as just like whereas clause. So for example, on the legislation, I'm going to go to the previous legislations that we wrote in the last session so that you can see how, the template is. Okay, so this is a pretty old bill, but this is basically, for example, this is a resolution to be entitled to convening of the governing documents review committee. So this legislation was just simply to create a committee to review governing docs. So the governing docs committee that we have right now, which Manny is in charge of, where we review the things that we need to change and stuff like that. This resolution helped do that, did that, but yeah. So in the first whereas clause, you can see that, you give a little bit of background knowledge on what the specific issue you're handling. So for example, the specific issue that we're handling was the governing documents committee. So you have to list the importance of why it's important and things like that. I kind of think of legislation as you just act like the person is reading it for the first time and knows nothing about it. So you give background information on why this issue is important. And then in your enacted clause, you basically say what you want to do and what you propose to change with this legislation, or what are the following steps that you're going to take. But yeah. And then, like I just said, the whereas clauses as well. And then enacted is just to restate the why for the legislation and what will happen next. Usually with any legislation that you write, Maya will be in charge of just like looking through it and things like that to see if there's any grammatical errors, to see if you need to like change anything about it. So before you even present your piece to Senate, it will go through the legislative committee. Okay. So tips for writing, I would just say don't overthink it. Just get straight to the point, because you don't want it to be too wordy. Sometimes you can present this piece of legislation to faculty, for example, if that's the next step that you want to do, but basically don't make it too wordy. And then write an outline of your ideal structure for your legislation. That's really important in writing legislation, just so that can flow easily. And be open to change as well, because practice makes progress. So if anybody, anybody that's been SGA for a while and you want them to review your legislation to see, oh, hey, should I add this? Should I change this? Feel free to utilize them and stuff like that. And if you need any help, ask, because we're here. The legislative committee is here. A lot of us, if we're not new to SGA, we probably written legislation before, and we can help. We're not doing this. Okay. Do y'all have questions? So now we're going to move on to the elections timeline. Okay. So Derek is going to present the elections timeline. Basically, we're planning to do elections next week. There's a few positions that are open. I'll list them after he tells you guys what the timeline is.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Derek. Bear with me, it's my first time presenting here. But on the 28th, we're gonna do like a little elections meeting, and you can, let me scroll down. You can see right here, these are the given areas. We can do the UC Auditorium, Dogwood, and these are the time frames. So moving on to the 30th is when the application is open, and the applications are open until September 6th. And the 7th, the advisor, we're gonna basically, do conduct checks and all that good stuff. So moving on to the 14th to the 17th is gonna be the voting period. The ballots open on September 14th, 8 a.m. And they close on the 17th at 11:59 p.m. September 18th, if this is confirmed, candidates will be notified and potentially sworn in the next day on September 19th. If you need me to go slow or scroll up, let me know.
And just basically is that, you can clap. But basically, we are planning to have all of our new senators by September 19th, and that 19th date is on that Tuesday. So I would say just be aware of like things like that. In order for us to, be able to start our elections period, we have to get it voted in by you guys as well. But during these interest meetings, we're going to be having 3. So we're having them on that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So that would just be, in different times, getting people to know about different things. There'll also be live stream as well, so that if people who aren't there can see it. And the slides are also in the elections. And during the drive, they're in the elections. All the elections information is in the drive as well. But I'm going to say the positions that are open, just in case y'all have friends that also want to join us here. So last year we did pass the first international senator. So we made that a position in SGA where anybody who's an international student can run for SGA. So that will be on our ballot this year. We're having 3 freshman senators, 1 junior senator, 1 residential senator, 1 non-traditional senator, 1 College of Arts and Science senator, 1 visual and performing arts senator, and School of Education senator. But yeah. So since we do have to vote on this, I'm going to move into a period of Q&A. So if you have any questions, we're going to move into a 5-minute period of Q&A. Yes. Yeah, so anybody that dropped, that was a position that became open. And also there were some positions that didn't, that weren't filled. So some of the school of like, for example, like the School of Visual and Performing Arts, I think that one wasn't filled. So some of them are positions that were already open. And then some of them are some people that just dropped because they either like transferred or something, but yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. So we will be posting on our Instagram about the international senator position as well. I think with the interest meetings as well, we're going to make it more like public for everyone to know as well. That on our slides, we included that as well for any student that's willing to. But we'll definitely work on making sure that's promoted for students to know. But yeah. And then does anybody else have any? Can anybody yield their time to Ren? Okay. Yes. Yeah, but you have to ask and then you have to yield your time to her. So also to echo off of what it said. So because we're going to be having interest meetings and also promoting elections in general, we're also going to be promoting elections in general. So that on top of that, that's also going to be like the international position. But if you are, a senator and you do want to, okay, you do want to like host an event, but you can, but yeah. And then can someone yield their time to Jaisha and Jordan? Can someone yield their time to Jordan? Sorry. No, they're not mandatory. The interest meetings, so at least the way that the SOPs work is that you have to at least attend 1, but if you let Derek know that you cannot attend any of them, then there's an exception to that. But yeah, I think you have to at least attend 1 interest meeting for you to be able to apply. But if you let them know, then, but that's also going to be on the Instagram as well. So can someone yield their time to Jaisha? Oh, sorry. Okay. Maisha first, and then you can go. Sorry. Yeah. There's typically a campus email that's sent out to everyone before elections. Yeah, so typically before elections, we all have an email that we send out to everybody to let them know that elections is coming up. So that would be sent out before we even do like the election, before the thing opens and everything, so everyone can know. So, but typically there is an email sent out beforehand. And then I think, can someone yield their time to Kaylin, please? Okay. Does anybody have any more questions? Jordan? Oh, wait, someone has to yield their time. Sorry. Okay. No. So because of the transition to like everything being in person, we have had it like in person. I know last year that one of them was in Zoom, but I think for right now, we're just going to be doing email. If you email and say that you cannot attend any of them, then that's where we send you the slides, and like that's where the exception lies. And I think a lot of people that were voted in last semester as well had to do that too. Can someone yield their time to Kaylin? Yeah. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is probably live stream it on the YouTube so that it can be accessible to everyone. But that, just like we record Senate meetings right now, then yeah, it's gonna be accessible. Mason? Can I get a second? Okay. Now we're gonna move into a 5-minute period of discussion. So you can discuss anything about this, the elections timeline, you know, if you have anything that you suggest for us to change, or yeah. Mason? Okay, so now we're gonna move into voting again. So Abe is going to send out that voting link. But yeah, basically this piece is just to establish the elections timeline so that we can be able to start presenting stuff at least by next week. But yeah.
All right, so the voting was 23-1-0, and the election timeline has been approved.
Thank y'all so much. But now it's Mason. He's gonna present the fall student group allocations. Just to give a background on what the student group allocations are. So if you're in any organization that's on campus, basically SGA gives funding to those organizations, and he'll basically explain more on that. But yeah.
to 50 minutes away from home on campus. But when it also works out, because the 8th and 9th, I will be at Fayetteville State University. So they kind of have to be on Zoom. Anyway, starting tomorrow, and then subsequently Thursday and Friday, we will have our orientation meetings, which are as student groups are required to attend at least one. In the past, we have allowed, if they email me, sending the recording to them along with the PowerPoint slides for them to receive credit for attending. And then following those, the application will open 8 a.m. August 26th, which is this Saturday, and then it will be open for 7 days, and it will close at 8 p.m. on Saturday, September the 2nd. Then we will have hearings from 3 to 6 p.m. September 6th. I think that's a Wednesday. I don't have a calendar in front of me. And then 9 to 2 p.m. on the 8th, which is a Friday, and 9 to 2 on the 9th, which is a Saturday. We can add more times, but currently that's 78 time slots. So I don't want to add times and have to sit longer with the empty slots. So if I see it getting full, I will go on and add more time. Following the hearings, Finance Committee will deliberate. I will deliberate. And then the final budget will be presented to Senate at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, September 12th. And then we'll get notifications out the following week. Any questions? All right. Yes. Yeah, so Aaron, if you'd like to answer that. So you have a student group on campus, correct? Aaron, would they be eligible to apply for funding if it's a Gateway campus student group? So basically, I would say the biggest thing that I see and what doesn't get funded are group specific items. So what the things SGA funding can be used for has to be made available and accessible to any UNCG student. So like group shirts or a tablecloth. That's not something we can fund because group shirts are group specific. They're going home with group members. A tablecloth is staying solely with a student group and not being able to be utilized by any UNCG student, if that makes sense. I mean, there's more, but that's essentially the biggest part. Mhm. By outside of UNCG, what are you talking about? Like community service or? I think they like to see that UNCG students are being benefited through these allocations. That's my understanding. So I'm not, that's just something I would have to run up the chain and just see. And if it is able to be funded, it might not be at 100%, if that makes sense. Sure.
Thank you, Mason. Just to answer some of the questions that y'all asked, to see if other outside like student group organizations or what or can be funded, you can look at the SOP, which is just basically like shows the guide on how like we do funding and stuff like that to see if that's a qualification, and then we if it is, then we can move forward and see what we can do. But yeah. Executive council reports. Okay, present report, Mara. She can't be here today, but I'm gonna do it for her behalf. Okay. So what is Mara up to? She went to study abroad in Costa Rica. She went to fall kickoff. She's been connecting with ASG and the Council of Student Body Presidents. She's been volunteering for her psychology lab. And then she went to the SGA retreat / training, and she's been meeting with us. She's had a fun summer per. Okay, what's coming up? So fall student group allocations, as Mason just mentioned, and then fall elections, which we just talked about, and then exec council meetings, Blue and Gold Friday, that is this Friday, right, Caitlin? This Friday, NPHC council meeting, meeting with the GREET September 6th, and that's Jaisha right there, and Samaya. Attorney General.
Hello, everyone. So my appointments are my office hours are by appointment. I'm located right next to the cubicle along the 3 offices. There's my cell. Don't text me. It's just there for show. Low-key, email me. I respond much quicker on email. So what I've been up to, I helped out with SOAR for August and July. Shout out to the freshmen. Then I did UNCG Chance. If you don't know what Chance is the first of its kind program for Hispanic high school students to get introduced into college. It's a great experience. And then I was also doing an internship with a nonprofit. Shout out to the Early Education Coalition. They paid me. That's what matters. And then we did the SGA retreat. That was really fun and fresh because I got to meet a lot of y'all and get more accustomed to it, And then I helped out with the Navigate and Ignite. Shout out to the freshmen. They were complaining the whole time. And then I had PAL training for my FYE course for foundations. And then I had conduct team training this past Friday. And we concluded with Spartan Service Day, which I was paired with for the Spartan orientation staff. And there are a few photos. My favorite one is the top right one. I had to remember my right. That's me on stage. And then there's that one person right there. So, so what I have coming up, I'm gonna be doing panelist training for the Office of Student Rights and Responsibilities. Tomorrow is the All Creek Assembly. We will be hiring the next round of Spartan orientation staff within the coming weeks. The EUC blood drive is next week. And that's crazy because August is about to end. I also came to the realization I'm going to grad school, and that's a live reaction to me remembering that. And then I'm ready for my last year, time to graduate.
Hey guys, so my office hours are by appointment. You can text me or email me either way. So what I've been up to, we went to the Legislative Exec Cabinet retreat. That was really fun. We got to connect with a lot of y'all. Faculty Senate convocation. So basically we got to start over. Faculty Senate has their own Senate, so they have a mini us where they just talk about different things going on campus. So I got to learn more about that. We did fall kickoff, and I took my LSAT child. And then I have my last first day of class. I finished my internship with the National Education Association and a congressional office, and then I traveled as well. Okay, so what's coming up? I'm applying to law school, and then I'm going to, we're gonna have exec council meeting, and then fall allocations and elections, that's what's coming up for us. And then exec cabinet meeting where I talked to the directors back there, lovely. I went to work, and then my senior year is coming up, and then I'm also gonna do y'all's committee assignments. So I will be sending y'all an email after this. Basically on there, you're gonna say what committee you wanna be in. There's gonna be 3 options, like from least to whatever. And then the committees that there is finance, current concerns, SJDI, elections, and legislative. But yeah, that's all for me. Actually, never mind. I forgot about this. Senator forum. So any senator may speak up for 2 minutes at the time pertaining to SGA. So if you have any announcements or anything you have to say. Okay. So nobody has. Okay. But announcements. So anybody in SGA can speak if they have any announcements for 2 minutes. Jaisha? Oh. Aaron? Jaisha? Thank you, Jaisha. She also sent that out in your email. So if you are looking for the link to sign up, she sent that out. So yeah. Does anybody else? Kaylin? Thank you, Kaylin. Ren? Thank you, Ren. Oh, Jaisha. Yeah, Alexander. Mhm. Yeah. And I'll also, on our committee, whenever you guys decide whatever committee y'all want to be in, I'll add that option if you guys want to do the training with PD so that we can know who wants to do it. But yeah, if you're in the current concerns committee, work with PD. I think Grace will be doing that this year as well. She's the chair. She's not here today, but she'll be doing that as well. Anybody else, Georgian? Yes, and use them as a resource because each person back there, they're under different categories. For example, Jordan works with dining and parking, Jaisha works with community outreach, Ren works with environmental stuff. So if anything that you find concerning and you want to reach out to them, they're the good guy to have. Also next week for Senate, we're going to also talk about event planning. So that way that you're not totally lost on how to plan events and stuff like that. But does anybody have any more announcements? So adjournment roll call, Samaya.
Yeah. Okay, Latasha. All right, Jayla. Amber. Right. Alexander. Nevaeh. Jessica. Zaire. Linda. Hillary. Kayla. Maya. What's her name? Fatima. Ahmed. Tamia. Derek. Maisha? No. Maisha. Sorry. Oh, there you go. Marcel. Grace. Kimberly. Daniel. Charlotte. Jalea. Alex. Mason. Fernando. And Alyssa.
Okay. I adjourned this meeting at 8:10 p.m. Thank y'all so much. Wait, before everybody leaves, please listen, please. For the ones that wanted to do tabling for the international senator position, if y'all can get up with me, like either right now or send me an email, we can get on to tabling for that. I'll show you how to do that. Ain't nobody listen, but it's okay. I'll send y'all an email. Answer not to table because it's last minute. Damn. But you can do it at the Friday. How is it? When is the election? It's next week. That's what you said. So sorry. It's the last minute. Thank you. I'm gonna talk to her about it. We can talk to her about it though. That is too late.
So I just sent it to you. Okay. Sorry for that. So, thank you so much. No problem. I'm gonna get everybody's names eventually. All right. Yeah, I felt. Yeah, and then
Next week's meeting.
I'll see you.
Add it on the drive and create it in minutes, but it's gonna be under yours. So how do I? So. Yeah. You gotta end the live stream. Oh, yeah.